Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm looking at the top teams in the NFL that I think is going to improve the most in 2021. And what I mean by improve is, yes, there are teams that are going to get better, but I do think they'll be right around the same record. So I'm kind of grading them on how many more wins they will be getting. That is what I mean by improve, getting a substantial amount more of wins in the following season than they did last year. And I mean 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more wins. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, I want to hear you guys comment down below. What team do you think will improve the most in 2021? Before getting to my real list, a couple honorable mentions. Arizona Cardinals, they made some great moves this offseason, getting Chandler Jones, AJ Green, Malcolm Butler. But being right around 8-8, I do think 10-11 wins is their cap. I do think they will improve still, but going from 8-8 to possibly 10 wins, that is not a substantial jump. Next, Kansas City Chiefs, say what you want. No one wants to hear about the Chiefs getting better, and they went 14-2, and there's a chance they go 13-3 this next year and get worse record-wise, but honorable mention because the amount of upgrades they got at offensive line and Orlando Brown Jr., Joe Tooney, and Kyle Long. Chiefs got a great offensive line, and I think they did arguably get better. Miami Dolphins, they got some good picks this year, getting Jalen Waddle, getting Jalen Phillips to help out the offense and defense, making some other moves in the NFL draft, getting Will Fuller in free agency, and Tua entering this sophomore year, I do think will be better. This Dolphins team all around will be better, but they already had 10 wins last year, and I think they'll be right around the same range this year, 10, 11, maybe 12 wins. So I think they'll improve when it comes to their team and how good they are, but record-wise, I think they're going to be roughly the same, maybe 1 to 2 more wins. And then one last honorable mention is going to be the New England Patriots. Finished 7-9. However, we know they made some of the biggest moves in the NFL free agent market, adding Matt Judon, adding Jalen Mills, getting a healthy Stephon Gilmore back, adding Kyle Van Noy, adding Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and getting Dante Hightower back as well, and possibly having either a Cam Newton who's more familiar with the offense and possibly plays a little bit better, or a Mac Jones who develops well, and Bill Belichick's able to get every ounce of talent out of that guy. Patriots, I do think they will improve. But being 7-9, I think 8, 9, 10 wins is right around the range they will be this year. Again, they're improving, but some guys on this list, they're taking a huge jump. Starting out the real list, I'm going to start with the New York Football Giants. I think they've arguably had one of the best NFL off seasons. They added Kenny Golladay, a number 1 receiver, to their wide receiver core, a number 1 cornerback, and Adoree Jackson to help out James Bradbury, already a number 1 corner. Saquon Barkley is going to be coming back. Daniel Jones, he is a big question mark, but this roster is too good, especially what they did in the draft. Kadarius Toney, Azeez Ojulari. This is a great roster, and I do think they will improve possibly by 3 to 4 wins. They were 6-10 last year. I think with this 17-game schedule, we could see them get possibly 9 to 10 wins, improving by 3 to 4 wins. Another one in this division is going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, and this is strictly due to them getting back their quarterback in Dak Prescott. Cowboys do have some question marks and some things that aren't really going their way. Ezekiel Elliott's kind of descending. Amari Cooper's kind of descending. But they do have things going their way as well. Like I said, getting Dak Prescott back, getting a healthy O-line back. CeeDee Lamb entering his second year. He's going to get in even better. And then on the defense, probably having a very nasty pass rush between Jalen Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence, and the new first-round draft pick and rookie Micah Parsons. That is going to be a scary front seven and a scary defensive line to deal with. I think they're going to get better. They didn't pick a corner in the first round, but there really wasn't a top-tier guy available for them in the first round, and they did eventually address it later in the second round. I like this Cowboys team to improve a lot, mainly going towards the credit of Dak Prescott coming back. Don't know if they'll be a serious threat, but like the Giants, they had a lot of improvements this year, and just already starting at 6-10, I think they're going to get an additional 3 to 4 wins in this upcoming season. Another one, Los Angeles Chargers. This is kind of an iffy one. They were 7-9, just like the Patriots, but I think looking at the Chargers, adding Brandon Staley, we still a question mark head coach, but adding him and adding Corey Linsley, the number 1 center in the league, I think was an automatic additional 2 to 3 wins for this Chargers team, going from 7-9 to, at a bare minimum, 9-7 in the following year. Of course, now the 17-game schedule, we'd have to adjust that, but I do think Brandon Staley and Corey Linsley is an additional 2 wins already to this team. And now looking at who they're getting in the draft in Rashawn Slater and Asante Samuel Jr. to address their biggest needs at the offensive line and in the secondary, This Chargers team, I think, is going to get anywhere from 3 to 5 more wins than they did last year, and we could see this Chargers team go from 7-9 to possibly 10-7, 11-6, 12-5, 13-4. I think this Chargers team is going to improve a lot with the new head coach, Justin Herbert, entering his sophomore year. He's only going to get better. And then Justin Herbert, who's got an absolutely rebuilt offensive line. He had a bottom 3 offensive line last year, and now he might have a top 5, top 6, top 7 offensive line. This Chargers team is definitely going to see a 4 to 5 win improvement, in my opinion. Another one, the San Francisco 49ers. Trey Lance, yes, this is going to help this team long term, but just for this following season, San Francisco 49ers were 6-10 last year, and they had backup on backup starting at quarterback. Now, even if Jimmy G or Trey Lance starts, whoever it is, one of these guys, they're going to start the right guy and whoever's better for the organization. And just assuming Jimmy G is the starter is going to be a lot better than what they were working with last year. So I think getting Jimmy G back, arguably your most important piece on offense. It's hard to argue when you got George Kittle, but him coming back as well, getting back a top 3 tight end, an above-average quarterback in Jimmy G, a good running back in Raheem Mostert, and finally having a guy to throw to Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. This offense is going to get a lot better. And then the defense, the same thing goes for them. Getting a healthy defense back in Nick Bosa. He's kind of, I don't want to say the bread and butter to their defense. He's everything to their defense. But without him on this defense, the team is not the same. So I think getting back so many key players and finally battling through the injuries, we're going to see this Niners team progress. We saw how good just the year before when they were healthy. They had the number 1 defense and they went to the Super Bowl. Not saying they'll do that again, but I think with a healthy roster and Kyle Shanahan getting a quarterback again, this team will definitely improve from 6-10 and get anywhere from possibly 5 to 6 more wins than they did last year. Like I said, they were 6-10 last year. This is a team I could see go 11-6, 12-5, 13-4, 14-3, 15-2. This is a good team when the Niners are healthy. They are going to improve a lot. Another one, the Cincinnati Bengals. Getting Joe Burrow back and getting him some help on that offensive line. They didn't address it in the first round when they could have with Penei Sewell, but they addressed it in the later rounds, and they also addressed it already in free agency and getting some guys back and healthy. Jonah Williams, he's going to help out that offensive line especially, but having a receiving core full of 4 good receivers in Auden Tate, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, that might be the best 4 receivers on a single receiving core in the NFL. There's some debate out there between, a Buccaneers that got a Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, but still that Bengals receiving core is in conversation with any receiving core in the NFL. And the defense getting some help as well. And Trey Hendrickson, and of course, Joe Burrow just coming back on a fully healthy season. I think they'll 100% improve from 4-11 wins. It's going to be tough to possibly become a playoff team from 4-11, especially being in that division where you got a top 8 defense in the Steelers. You got a electric Lamar Jackson. You have the Browns, who have a top 5 roster in the NFL. It's going to be hard to make a playoff team, but I think from 4-11, we're going to see this team improve a lot and possibly get 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 wins in the NFL season. I definitely see this team improving by a good margin. 2 more. Carolina Panthers. Getting Sam Darnold, I think, is a huge upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion, and just being at 5-11 and 5 wins. I think we're going to definitely see this team upgrade. Looking at the Panthers division, I don't see them standing a chance against the Bucs, but I think them now facing a Saints who doesn't have Drew Brees and a Falcons who have some dangerous offensive weapons but still don't really have their identity. This Panthers team could definitely improve this following year. Like I said, getting Sam Darnold, reconnecting him with Robbie Anderson, bringing Christian McCaffrey back, having Matt Rule have a year of the NFL under his belt, DJ Moore as well. And then on defense, an up-and-coming Jeremy Chin. You added Hassan Reddick to help out the pass rush. Trey Boston kind of being the captain linebacker of that team. Adding Denzel Perryman. And, of course, drafting a number 1 corner in the NFL draft in J.C. Horn. This team is going to improve a lot. And I think they could go from 5-11 wins to possibly being a sneaky playoff team at that 7th seed. I could see this going from a 5-11 team to fight for 9, 10, 11 wins. They will improve a lot, in my opinion. And then the last one is going to go to Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty explanatory. I don't think the Jaguars will make the playoffs, but just having one singular win last year, I think they can improve by a lot. Just you need to win 4 or 5 games this year, and you've technically improved a lot. And, of course, that goes to the credit of Trevor Lawrence. That goes to the credit of Urban Meyer, a generational talent coming in. a winning head coach coming in. He doesn't have NFL experience, but wherever Urban Meyer goes, he seems to succeed, and I think that'll correlate to the Jaguars. They have one of the best backfields in the NFL now. I don't agree with them drafting Travis Etienne because they already had a solidified backfield with James Robinson and Carlos Hyde, but like I said, they have one of the best backfields when it comes to star power and depth chart in this backfield in the NFL, assuming Travis Etienne is not a bust. So the backfield's set, the quarterback is set. They addressed the offensive line later in the draft. They drafted a cornerback to help out C.J. Henderson if he comes around. You got Josh Allen on that front line. You got Myles Jack still, and the receiving core is looking pretty as well with Marvin Jones Jr., DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and you've already added more in this NFL draft. Again, don't think the Jaguars are going to be a playoff team, but they had one win last year. I could definitely see them getting 5 to 8 wins this year. I definitely think they'll improve by 4 wins, 4 games, and therefore they definitely make this list because they're going to improve a lot compared to what they were last year. You're going from Gardner Minshew to a generational talent and Trevor Lawrence, who's being compared to Andrew Luck. This team is going to improve. Enough said. And then the New York Jets, I didn't include them on this list because I think it's a little debatable. Zach Wilson has bust potential. The Jets are in a very tough division, dealing with the Miami Dolphins, dealing with the New England Patriots, and dealing with the Buffalo Bills. I would not be surprised if this Jets team is one of the worst in the NFL again. I guess improving from 2 to possibly 4 or 5 wins is at least still worth mentioning. Of course, getting Zach Wilson, getting Carl Lawson, getting Corey Davis, but again, and Elijah Vera Tucker, again, I'm just not a huge fan of this Jets team. I think they'll improve, and I guess they are worth making the list now that I'm talking about it, but I just don't see them coming together and being a serious team. And I guess I'm contradicting saying with the Jags, saying they're only going to get 5 to 6 wins, but again, I think the Jags are going to improve a lot more than the Jets, and I think Zach Wilson has a decent amount of bust potential. But of course, guys, comment down below, what do you think of this list? Who do you think will improve the most for the question of the video? And again, comment your thoughts. And as always, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.